the Department of Health and Human Services is investigating a major university medical center after a Catholic nurse claims she was forced to participate in an abortion against her conscience. HHS's Office for Civil Rights issued a notice of violation to the University of Vermont Medical Center last month because of this reported incident. The medical center could lose some federal funding if it does not make its policies comply within 30 days of the notice. The University of Vermont Medical Center denies the allegations. Joining us in our D.C. studio is Justin Butterfield, a senior advisor at the Department of Health and Human Services. Justin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. From HHS's perspective, how significant is this case?
You know, this is a significant case. The University of Vermont Medical Center compelled a nurse to participate in an abortion that she had a strong religious conviction was wrong. And when you see hospitals, when you see doctors who are forced to do things that violate their deepest convictions, often the convictions that got them interested in medicine in the first place, what you're doing is you're driving them out of the healthcare field. And so we at the Department of Health and Human Services in the Office for Civil Rights are committed to enforcing laws, federal protections that Congress has enacted over decades to protect people just like this nurse in Vermont, so that they don't have to deal with, do I have to choose between helping people through my medical career and violating my deepest convictions?
And Justin, can you clarify what is the federal law when it comes to medical professionals and conscience protections?
So there are several laws. Congress has enacted numerous laws over decades that provide conscience protections to healthcare professionals. In this case, the law that the Office for Civil Rights found the University of Vermont Medical Center violated is called the Church Amendments. And the specific provision of the Church Amendments that we found that they violated protects healthcare professionals from being coerced to perform or participate in abortions and sterilizations. And we found that the University of Vermont Medical Center both required a nurse to participate in an abortion against her religious and moral convictions, and that they have a policy that doesn't provide protections that the law requires.
Has HHS heard from the University of Vermont Medical Center on whether they've adapted their policies? Are they still at risk of losing their federal dollars?
Not yet. So if we don't hear from them and they don't come into line with what the law requires, then we will refer it to other divisions within HHS and start that process.
Can you speak to whether or not this is an isolated case? Have you seen this before?
Well, we've seen it before in the case of Catherine Hadro, who was a nurse in New York who was required to participate in an abortion that she had a moral and religious objection to. And while I can't talk about open investigations, I can say that in the previous administration, the 8 years of the previous administration, we had about 1.25 complaints per year. In the year since the Conscience and Religious Freedom Division has opened in the Office for Civil Rights, we've had over 1,300 complaints, several hundred of those conscience complaints. And they're open investigations, so I can't go into details about them. But we are seeing a lot of complaints about situations that are like this.
1,300. Wow. We recently spoke with the law firm representing the Catholic nurse in this Vermont case. Take a listen to what the American Center for Law and Justice told us.
For the first time, an administration responded to our complaint, did a one-year investigation of the University of Vermont Medical Center, found that not only was our client's conscience rights and thus the federal law violated, but so were 4 other additional nurses and medical professionals. And it's now HHS has given the hospital 30 days to change their policies, or they will not be eligible for federal funding.
Justin, can you speak to the role of the Office for Civil Rights and the new Conscience and Religious Freedom Division? Is this unprecedented action from HHS?
Yeah, it really is the degree to which we're protecting and enforcing these conscience protections for healthcare professionals. And you know, President Trump from the Rose Garden said, we're going to vigorously enforce the federal law protections for religious freedom, and we're fulfilling that promise. The Conscience and Religious Freedom Division in the Office for Civil Rights at HHS is dedicated to ensuring that Americans' fundamental rights to conscience and religious freedom are protected, that we are not driving people out of the healthcare field, that we are not trampling over people because of their religious beliefs, but that we are bringing those civil rights into parity with other civil rights, and we're enforcing the full spectrum of civil rights.
Justin Butterfield, Senior Advisor for the Department of Health and Human Services, thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.